Are you tired of art tutorials not explaining everything they do? Then this video is just for you. Before you actually start to draw, you need to know the tools available to you. If you are a beginner, then you really need a reference, or you'll draw like garbage. This button right here is where you can put your references. This will appear immediately. Press the import and pick your references. This button here is where you can pick your brushes. I highly recommend using the pen fade brush if you are a beginner, as it is the best brush in my opinion. Let me explain. You know how different brushes have different purpose? Well, pen fade can almost do it all. Want to do a line art? Pen fade. How about shading? Pen fade baby. It's really all about on how you control the opacity of the brush. Another important tool is located in the special brushes called the liquify pen. Watch how I use the liquify pen to turn this into a head-like shape. But be careful of using too much liquify. It will make your art wonky. Another tool I want to introduce is the lasso tool. This lets you select an area in the canvas where you can edit without interrupting other parts of your drawing. You can increase or decrease the area selected through these buttons. By pressing this button, you can also move, zoom in, or zoom out your drawing. Perspective form can help a lot with a perspective. You can also do this in perspective form, so that's a plus. I don't really mesh a lot with mesh form, but it's very useful if you know how to use it. This tutorial is for beginners, so I don't want this to be overcomplicated. In my drawing phase, I choose whether I'll do a rough sketch or do something else that I like to call sculpting-like technique. I don't really like drawing rough sketch and line art because it's a hassle for my fingers, and I have a terrible phone. With the technique I'm using, I like to choose different shades of gray. Now what is this sculpting cheesy whizzy you say? It is similar to rough sketch, but focuses more on the bigger shapes. Like this head shape I am drawing, I just use bigger brushes to sculpt the head. Make it as similar in the reference. Remember the liquify pen? I'm using it here to fix the shape a little. Next, I'm going to use another shade of gray for other body parts. Watch how I use liquify pen here and there. See how I use circle for joints so that I have a clearer image of what I'm drawing. Just repeat the steps until you are satisfied. Now I am adjusting the image to the size I want it to be. What I'm doing here is getting a general idea of where I will put the facial features like eyes, nose, and mouth. Do not overthink too much and just put a darker color on it. Do not forget that the face is always shaped like this. Just do everything I said until you're satisfied. Now, I just clean the sketch a bit, and then we will continue to draw the hand. This is usually how I envision the hands. Now draw. Continue adding darker shades based on your reference. You might think, why do I like using darker colors? Because shadow is good in determining the form of your drawing, while highlight is good for details. Determining the form can help you a lot with your drawing. Remember the lasso tool? I'm using it here to adjust the hands. And then just continue shading until it looks good enough. Speed paint cause I draw in portrait mode. Because drawing in landscape is hard. What I basically do here is add some minor details. and adjusting those details for the drawing to look good. You might be wondering, why am I not using any colors at all? It's because I'll show you a neat trick with another tool in Ibispaint. By using the lasso tool, I select an area I want to color, like the skin, and press the filter button in your tools. Choose hue, saturation, and lightness. You can be creative with filter and have fun messing around. Once you're done, you can press this button. Repeat it with the close. Look, I know it looks bad, but I am just showing you how it can be used, so forgive me. Have you noticed that I'm only using the pin fade brush to be genuine about pin fade being the king? See how I use the opacity to render colors. Now I try to improve the details little by little. I am adding some more colors to make it feel more alive. This is the color wheel, and you can choose any color you like for your painting. I recommend using the colors here because they are easier to control. Do not be afraid of trying different colors because there is always an undo button. Now I'm coloring the eye to show you how important highlight is for details. As you can see, the highlight made the eyes look different. The last tool I want to introduce in this tutorial is the smudge tool. This tool can help a lot with shading and rendering. I don't use this that much, but this tool can help you a lot with your art. Watch how I use it to mix different colors in the canvas. By the way, I don't recommend using the blur tool for beginners, as it can make your art look a little weird if you don't know how to use it properly. As I said in the title, I'm only rendering this in one layer to show you that you don't need 20+ layers to draw. I'm done teaching you the basics and how to use different tools in Ibispaint. So now, watch my speed paint. Choose midtones when shading for it to look a little realistic. Experiment with colors and have fun while drawing. Do not forget to take a break here and there. Taking a break can also help you improve your drawing because resting can relax your mind. And when you draw again, you can see the mistakes you made and the imperfections of your drawing. Use the tools I introduced, like the liquify pen. It is very helpful in adjusting your drawing. I know my art may not be good, but I hope this tutorial can help you learn and improve. This is the final result. It's really not the best, but I'm quite satisfied how it turned out with just using the pin fade and one layer. I only really did this tutorial because someone asked me to. I didn't know editing was that hard. I'm sorry I couldn't make this better because my phone is trash and my storage space is at its limit.